From scratch and step by step, we are going to learn how to build a simple, practical spreadsheet to help you track your daily expenses. Basically, every expense you have. You just come here, type the date of the expense, click the category and choose one, enter the total amount, and if you want, you can add a detailed description for that expense. That's it, simple as that. This way, the spreadsheet can give you a summary of everything you expend in each month. Let's say January, February, March, April, and so on. And within each month, I can see, for example, that in April I expend $225. But what did I expend it on? I expended on credit card expenses, electricity bill, and take out lunch. So this spreadsheet is actually very smart because it can list and summarize your expenses by category, by month, and show you how much you expend both per month and per category. To create our daily expenses spreadsheet, the first thing I'm going to do is make a header. And here I'm going to type daily expenses. In this sheet, we are simply going to record all the expenses we've had. It could even include money you received too. It's up to you how you want to use it. For this title, I type it. I'll go to the Home tab, increase the font size a little, and make it red, for example. Now on the second row, I'll click the row number itself so I can select the entire row. Now on the Home tab, I'm going to add a different color here too. Maybe a light red, but remember everyone, you can use whichever color you like the most. Now, between the second and third row, I'm going to click, hold, and drag upward to reduce the height a little bit. And for the first row, I'll click, hold, and drag downward to make it taller. And on the first row, I'll also add a fill color, maybe yellow, or you can click more colors, and right here, you can create your own custom color. I'm going to click custom and create the color I want myself, for example, a very light purple. And basically that's it. So I've created the title area for my spreadsheet. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create the cells where I'll enter the information. This is going to be very simple, really simple, very easy. The goal of the spreadsheet is to do something you can use quickly throughout your day. So I'm going to create one column called date, another column called category, another called amount, and if you need, I also leave a column called extra description, or just extra or extra note, etc. So you can type any additional notes. For the date column, I'll click the border between columns A and B, click, hold, and drag to the right to make the column wider. I'm also widening column B quite a bit, same for column C and column D as well. That's it, everyone. The spreadsheet structure is done. But now how do we make it work? For example, on January 1st of 2027, I had an expense for takeout lunch. I bought a lunch, so I need to record that amount here. But how should I do that? I'm going to have to type the same thing over and over again. I don't think that's a good idea. So my suggestion is that you create a new sheet in Excel by clicking the little plus sign in the sheet. I'll register all the expenses categories you have. So you can click a cell and type expense categories, enter. Then between column B and C, click, hold, and drag to the right. Here under expense categories, you can select the whole column B, center the information, and even increase the row height, because that way you make everything easier to read. For this header I've created, expense categories, I'm going to make it red with a white font and increase the font size a little to make it stand out more. Then I'm going to select a bunch of cells here down below, quite a few, everyone, maybe around 25, 30. You can select even more if you want. Then I go to the Home tab and add borders, all borders. But in this case, maybe I'm going to click borders again, go to line colors and choose red. Then I'll apply all borders again. Okay, done. That way everything gets red borders. Now what we can do, we can already start entering the expenses categories we will have. So for example, one of the first expenses I mentioned is takeout lunch. Another one could be credit card. Another one could be water bill. We can also have electricity bill. And maybe you are a business owner and you pay employees, so you could also add employee payments and so on. And this is where you basically register all your expenses. Why? Why should you register here? Because that way, in the main spreadsheet, we are going to save time. You won't have to type the same expense over and over again. You register it once, and that's it. After that, you can use it easily whenever you need it. And if you want, everyone, you can organize this information from A to Z. For example, let's say there's a new expense category called food. So let me add here, food, enter. Okay, wouldn't you agree that food should be near the top in alphabetical order? Exactly, okay? But right now it isn't. So how do I fix that? You are going to select your whole list all the way down, and then you can go to the Home tab, over the right, sort and filter, and then click filter. Now it's filtered. This adds this little drop-down box up here. With that box, whenever you need to, you can click it and sort from A to Z. That way you can organize your list in alphabetical order and everything stays nice and organized. So that's how you enter information, and to delete something, you just click it and press delete. And then if you need to organize it again, click the filter, sort from A to Z, and the problem is solved, okay? So to delete, just click and press delete. And to add new categories, you can use any empty cell, then sort from A to Z to organize it. Now going back to our main spreadsheet, how can we make this work? In the category column, I want to be able to select from what we just registered. So I go to data, click data validation, and instead of allowing any value, I'm going to choose list. I click the up arrow, go to sheet 2, and select all the options I have there. I select the full range to the end. Click the down arrow and click OK. Now the cool thing is, every time I need to select a category I previously registered, it will already appear here for me. It becomes much easier to log expenses throughout the day. Click and select. Very simple. As for the amount column, this is money you are expending. Since this will be a spreadsheet focused only on expenses, I'll just enter a normal value here. So for example, take out lunch. Let's enter $9.90. Enter. But since we are dealing with money, I'll click this value, go to the Home tab, and format it as currency. And here in extra description, I can add some details if needed. For example, bought it from Jopa's market. Done. And let's say you can add a description so you remember it later if necessary. It's not mandatory. The description is just an extra resource you can use. And to wrap this up nicely, something I think is really useful is to click up here on this small triangle. Now, what are we going to do is, over here on the left, you can increase the height of those rows. I'm going to leave mine around 30. Okay, but teacher, now everything got messed up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. It got a little messed up, right? But my goal was to increase the row height a bit. That makes it easier to see everything. And it's going to look even better in a moment. Now let me make row 1 a little taller again and reduce row 2 again, just to restore the header I created. Now everyone, what else we can do here? Maybe I'm going to select the information I entered here, center it vertically, to make it look cleaner and insert what is called table. A table in Excel is a very important in this situation because it has a lot of benefits that can help us a lot. I'm going to click OK, and now we already have a table in Excel. So what is the benefit of a table? I'll show you. But first, let me click Table Design, then the drop-down arrow. I'm going to choose a layout here. It could be the first one, or maybe this second one that I really like, which is a very light gray. See that? I think I'm going to go with that light gray style. Now, what I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to select the whole header row, go to the Home tab, and fill with a red and use a white font. And if you want, you can even increase the font size a little. So you can also make the amount column larger for easy reading. And adjust the other informations too, if you think it will help with the visibility. So now our spreadsheet is done, but how do we keep entering information into it? You simply click below the date column and type the new date when you had an expense. Let's say on the same date, January 1st of 2027, enter. Look what happens. Automatically the table pulls the information into itself. And let's say I had a credit card expense, $50, done. Description, I can add it or not, it's optional. Then, let's say on the next day, January 2nd of 2027, enter. See how easy it is to add information to the table? You just go to the first blank row, type the date, press enter, and that's it. But let's say if you need to delete something, you can just click where you want to delete, right click, then choose delete table rows. Done. That's it. Very simple. That's how you remove information and also you insert it. So now we've learned both, right? And if you need to organize things in alphabetical order or in chronological order, let's say I have a date here, January 1st of 2020. Enter. This date should have entered up at the top, right? But I only remember just now that I have a water bill expense, $90, referring to the month of January of 2020. So it should appear at the top. So how do I fix that? Once again, we are going to use the filter. So click it and then sort from oldest to newest. There we go, problem solved. The whole row was reorganized. So that's how you use this table. And want to add new information? Click the first empty row and type normally. Want to delete something? Right click in the row, go to delete table rows. Very simple. Want to sort it in alphabetical or chronological order? Click the filter, then sort from oldest to newest. Done, okay? Now, let's say if I want to have a summary and know what I expend month by month for each category, and so on, how do I solve this problem? I'm going to show you a very simple and practical way to do it. I'm just going to add a few more dates so the spreadsheet looks a little more realistic. And yes, it's important that you do the same because I'm going to add, let's say, dates for different months. January, February, March, April, and so on. Then I'll add a few random values, just sample values. And let me add some categories too. Food, water bill, electricity bill. And in the April, I also had more expenses, let's say credit card, and another expense that is take out lunch. Now, how can I know how much I expend in January, February, March, April, how much I expend on water bill, on credit card, and so on? For that, I'm going to click on the table and then click Insert tab, then Pivot Table. I'm going to choose New Worksheet. Excel will open a new area for me, and in that new area on the left is where we'll build the summary for our spreadsheet data. And I'm going to organize the information like this. I want to see the total amount I expend. So I take the amount field, click, hold, and drag into the values box down below. That way, you already be able to see the total amount you expend, but I want to see the total amount I expend both per by month and by category. So I'm going to take the date field, click and drag it into rows, and see how Excel show rows, days, and date here, right? A lot of information. I'm going to click date and remove it. Then I click days and remove that too. I only want to keep the months. And besides that, everyone, I'm going to take the category field from up here, click and drag it below the months. Done. That way, we will have a little table that shows how much I expend month by month and by category. No, teacher, you're wrong. Where the expanding by category is, okay. It's right here inside the little plus sign. So click the plus sign, there we go. Now you can see everything you expend within the month. And also inside each category. It's very organized and very easy. You can either click the plus button to expand or click the minus button to collapse that view. And if you want, you can improve the layout of this sheet. Under design, you can choose a custom color. I'm going to pick orange. Then for the title, I can select it, go to home and choose whichever color I want. In this first title, I'm going to type months and categories. And in the next column, I'm going to type total expending. I'm going to widen column A lot and widen column B a little. Then I'm going to right click this pivot table, go to pivot table options and remove the option that automatically adjusts column widths. Then I click OK. But why I did that? Because pivot tables have a habit that I don't like at all. They keep making the columns wider, then narrower, then wider again all the time. Now, another thing. How do you make sure that when you add new information to your spreadsheet, it gets updated in the pivot table? You just click Data, refresh all, done. Any new information you add to your expense sheet will now appear here in your summary. So I really hope, guys, this video can help you a lot and make you understand how to create a simple and practical expense tracking spreadsheet that also gives you a month-by-month summary so you can follow the status of each expense category throughout the month. Thank you, and I see you tomorrow because there's a new video every day.